Day 2 here of the NBL Blitz, proudly presented by Experience Gold Coast at Carrara Indoor Sports Stadium. Two really intriguing matchups coming off a really interesting first stage. Joel Peterson, Liam Santamaria. Liam, great to see you. We've got the Illawarra Hawks. We've got the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They were one of the teams of the season last year, Illawarra. The Phoenix have had an off-season of change, unprecedented upheaval. What are you expecting in our first game today?
Look, I'm expecting a good chance to get to know these teams a little better ahead of the season. Illawarra, of course, what an unbelievable second half of the year they had. One game away from a championship appearance last season, but, you know, they lost Gary Clark. He was such a huge piece to that puzzle. What do they look like without him? They've got Darius Days in the mix, their new import, but he's not cleared to play today, so others will get that opportunity. And Southeast Melbourne, well, they're stacked. I mean, they are a team we're all very excited to see this season because they've loaded up with talent and we're starting to get more of an idea about how those pieces all fit together.
Their next star, Malik Lewis, we'll get to see him, really excited about what he might deliver. Our second game sees the Perth Wildcats again, who've kept pretty steady coming into this season against a New Zealand Breakers team that's got a new coach, it's got new faces aplenty, but it does have that main man, Parker Jackson Cartwright, who comes back and he burst onto the scene at the Blitz last year. We know what he can deliver now, but he's such an exciting prospect anytime we get to see him in person.
Yeah, he'll be fun to watch for sure. His matchup with Ty Webster and those Perth guards will be fun. The Breakers, look, it's funny to say this in pre-season, but they're looking to bounce back because they had a couple of hit-outs against Sydney in Sydney last week that did not go well at all. So they're very much looking to build and start to get some positive feelings around their group. And the Wildcats, well, they've been playing games left, right and centre.
Here and everywhere.
Yeah, they've been over in Japan. So I think they are a little further ahead right now in their preparations than New Zealand. So it'll be interesting to see how all that looks.
So 2 games on a really big day here at the NBL Blitz. Hope you can join us for both of them. Game 1, not too far away.
Visiting the Gold Coast for the first holiday, I would say just beware because you might not want to leave, you might want to stay. So definitely a beautiful place to be at. The food, the people, the scenery is great. I would definitely encourage you guys to come out. Bringing your family here to the nice sanctuary is also just amazing as well. So I think it's just a great place. This has definitely been one of the best experiences that I've had so far at the Gold Coast. I would recommend everyone come out and check it out because I'm loving it so far.
Seeing the koalas with our little koalas.
It is day 2 of the NBL Blitz here at the Carrara Indoor Sports Centre. Southeast Melbourne Phoenix and the Illawarra Hawks in game 1 of 2 this afternoon. Great to have your company on ESPN via KO and via the NBL's YouTube channel. Joel Peterson and Liam Santamaria. One of the only men that's had a busier off-season than most of our players is alongside me. Liam, great to see you. Fascinating matchup, as we mentioned off the top, between these two teams. The Illawarra Hawks have been pretty stable in the off-season. Gary Clark goes out, Darius Days comes in. We won't see him today, and this is a brand new Southeast Melbourne Phoenix.
Yeah, excited about both these teams for this upcoming season. So a really good chance for us to get a good look at them here early in the preseason. And the Hawks, man, they came oh so close, didn't they? And, you know, made sense as a result of that to keep so much of that squad together. That's what they've done. But how much of a key piece was Gary Clark? I mean, we all know that he was super important. Can Darius Days come in and play a big role for him in that regard? And what kind of growth will we see from Lachlan Olbrich this season as well? He's going to get a whole bunch of run today, and, you know, fascinated to see what kind of season he's going to have.
There's few players that I'm more excited about seeing this season than Lachie Olbrich. Big fan of his work coming in last year. And, of course, there is Nathan Sobey, a new face for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, having crossed from the Brisbane Bullets in the off-season. What a signing he is.
Huge signing. All NBL second team. You had 20 points per game last season, so he's looked good in the preseason as well.
Games last year, he had 37, and he had 36 and 35 in back-to-back nights at one stage last year.
Flying under the radar, how big a signing that is. Had 20 points in just 17 minutes against Melbourne United last week, so he looks in great nick, and talking to him and his camp, he's very comfortable at South East Melbourne.
Yep, no, that Phoenix green looks pretty good on him. This South East Melbourne Phoenix team's been busy in the off-season, so they played, of course, a couple of games recently. That double overtime classic against Melbourne United. Not often you get that in the pre-season. That was a really spectacular contest between the two. Conversely, the Illawarra Hawks haven't spent a lot of time together. Justin Tatum hasn't spent time with his team. This is really their first hit out, so they will really grow into things as we see this Blitz unfold.
Yeah, it was interesting that, he spent so much time, obviously, his son Jason with the NBA championship.
The Tatum World Tour.
good times in Paris, or he was on the court, off the court, but Justin was over there with him as they won that gold medal, and hasn't been with the group for a long time here in pre-season. They did play a pre-season game against Shanghai. That's part of the Darius Days recruitment story. He gave them some buckets, and now he's an Illawarra Hawk.
I love that. I love that. You need a new import. You play a team, you go, that guy's all right.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll have you.
So, they're waiting for his letter of clearance to come through. But, it's, they're still, getting their gears going for the upcoming season, whereas the Phoenix, they've got a couple of those games under their belt already.
An all-new starting lineup for the South East Melbourne Phoenix. And Trey Cal, in an all-new team, still has the old jersey on in the headshot. So Lockie Olbrich, Sam Froling, Trey Cal, Young Jung Lee and Tyler Harvey. And then have a look at that South East Melbourne group. That is an all-new five. Yeah,
and really excited to get a good look at Matt Hurt. He hasn't played in the preseason to this point in their games against Brisbane, Melbourne United. Played at Duke, 18 a game, 20 a game, basically in the G League last season. So what's he going to be like at the 4th spot? We're going to get a good look at him today.
Had a dislocated finger in that pre-season. They played a practice game in Wangaratta earlier in the pre-season as well, up in Victoria's northeast. The Phoenix, and then, of course, back to play Melbourne United in their lead-up game. The Perth Wildcats just rolling in. They're our second game today. So Perth and New Zealand coming your way from 3:30 local time. Looking forward to that one.
Trey Kell, what a great signing.
Yeah.
Obviously he's a veteran now. He's going to be just kind of warming his way through the preseason. But that's the guy who had a triple-double last year, put up big numbers in the back half of the season. And as a point guard in this league, I think he really worked.
It's incredible to think that he had a triple-double last season and a scoreless game. It was an up-and-down year for Trey Cal, but, gee, when he got going, did he get going and really showed us what he could do in that Adelaide lineup at the back end of the season. And he was a name that was sought after in the off-season. And the Illawarra Hawks lucky enough to land their man. Zach Triplett suiting up for the Illawarra Hawks today, so too Kuani Kuani. Not the Kuani Kuani we've seen in the NBL before. He's fresh out of college, signed as a nominated replacement player with Dan Greeder still yet to return to action, coming back from a calf injury. Meanwhile, that is a very full South East Melbourne bench at the other end of the floor. And we are underway, day 2 of the NBL Blitz. Proudly supported by Experience Gold Coast. 30 degrees, not a cloud in the sky today. A gorgeous day up here on the glitter strip. And Lockie Olbrich has the rock early doors, which should surprise no one. What are you expecting from him this year? So, finals MVP in the NZNBL, regular season MVP in the NZNBL. He wins a championship with Canterbury under Judd Flavel. What kind of growth can we see from Lockie this season?
Substantial, I think. They're going to make sure he gets plenty of minutes. Swung Jung Lee draws the foul, and he's going to head to the free throw line.
It's going the other way, I think. I think it's for a kick out.
Okay, kicked out. It's going to go to the Phoenix. He's going to have a big season, Lockie Olbrich, no doubt about it. They're going to make sure he gets plenty of opportunity to do that. Started so strongly last year, had a great blitz, and then it fell away a little. He had some DMPs late in the season and in the finals. So big off season, and they have high hopes for him to be highly productive in this campaign.
Nice little move from Matt Hurt to get on the board. He's got the matchup with Olbrich in the early going. The big South Australian. Sam Froling spent a bit of time in the NZNBL in the off-season as well. Under Sam McKinnon at Taranaki. Derek Walton Jr. leading the way for this Southeast Melbourne team. Brings them a really different dynamic, of course. The last time we saw him, Liam, he was winning a championship with the Sydney Kings.
Oh,
Here comes Olbrich! Oh, wow! Lockie Olbrich announcing his intention on this NBL campaign.
Oh, my goodness. First couple of minutes. Wieskamp can't finish. Cannot wait to get another look of that hammer.
I've been waiting all season to see him out there, Liam.
You've been waiting all season?
All off season, just to see what he'll come up with. And has he come up with something? Lockie Olbrich.
Goodness me, comes right down the lane, cocks it back and yams it all over Geordie Hunter's head. That's emphatic from Lockie Olbrich, and the Hawks bench up and about.
You mentioned he was one of the darlings of the Blitz last year. He attracted a bit of attention overseas. A bit of a surprise coming in. We knew that, you know, he'd been the finals MVP in the NBL 1 Central, but we didn't expect him to do what he did. And then this year it's just gone to another level for the big fella.
Well, plenty of NBA scouts on the Gold Coast this week, Joel. No doubt they're
25 all up.
Yep, from a bunch of NBA teams. As Sobey slices his way to the cup, and look, they're here to get a look at all these next stars: Rocco Zikarsky and Ithanel Munter, Alex Tui. These guys. Harvey drills the three down the other end. But I tell you what, Lachlan Olbrich is well and truly on their radars. No longer. A guy that's just kind of like trying to make a name for himself. He's on the radar, and they will have enjoyed watching that.
Gee whiz, Tyler Harvey. That left hand is in some fine form. For a team that hasn't played a lot in the off-season, gee, they look awfully good early, the Illawarra Hawks. Skip out to a 7-point lead in this one. Sobey's looking sharp as well, which is a great sign.
Yeah, looking really sharp. Mentioned in the pregame that 20 points in 17 minutes. His ability to get to the rim, get to the free throw line, it's going to be huge for the Phoenix this season.
How do you think this new group fits together for the Phoenix? We know what Sobey can do scoring the ball. We can see what he can do scoring the ball. But playing alongside Derek Walton Jr., where he doesn't have to run as much of the offense like he did in Brisbane, is it a good fit in your head as Harvey drains another one?
Oh, my God. Tyler Harvey's red hot. He has just gone bang, bang, bang from long range. Whew. I think it fits together really well. It's going to be interesting to see just how it evolves when they hit the skids and they face some adversity over the course of the season. But they've got two guys who can play make off the bounce. Got a guy there in Wieskamp who gets to the rim there and draws the foul, who can spread the floor and knock it down. Matt Hurt can do the same from the 4 spot. So I think Derek Walton Jr. and Nathan Sobey are going to have a lot of fun together. In many ways they're going to take it in turns, and whoever can get the outlet pushes the rock and slap on an early ball screen, and he's going to try to get downhill.
Scan the QR code to sign up for NBL Plus. You can access archive footage, insider stats and much more via the NBL app and nbl.com.au. NBL Plus takes you deeper into the game this season. Wieskamp at the line, splits a couple.
Well, that'll feel good for Wieskamp. He was ice cold in that double overtime hit out with Melbourne United last week. 1 for 12 from the field. So a couple of easy looks from the free throw line to get him going.
Speaking of getting going, Sam Froling getting to that right hand.
Always nice to see him finish with the right. We know he's so strong going left, but that was nice touch over the left shoulder with the right hand.
Next Gen Award winner, of course, last season, Sam Froling. Played a big role in the run that Illawarra had to take Melbourne United all the way in that semi-final series. So too Dave O'Hickey as Walton Jr. splashes it in. Tom Vodanovic, he's had a pretty prolific pre-season. The Kiwi, having signed for South East Melbourne, he had 32 against Melbourne United the other night. He's been shooting the ball really well. Bit like that.
Right on cue. Yeah, 32. He had 11 of 16 from the field in that game. He's 7 of 14 from 3 over his previous 2 games leading into this in the preseason, and he just drills his first look right there from long range.
So the 3 imports for the South East Melbourne Phoenix, of course, Walton Jr., Matt Hurt and Wieskamp. Wieskamp and Hurt both come in with considerable experience in the American system. Matt Hurt coming back in.
Yeah, I like those signings from a skill set perspective. We're always interesting to see how different guys adapt and thrive in the league. It doesn't necessarily always equate what they've done elsewhere around the world. As Harvey draws that foul on Malik Lewis. But the fact that they've brought in a couple of shooters in those spots, not necessarily high volume ball handling guys, but Hurt and Wieskamp both stretch the floor, happy for others to make plays, and then those guys catch and shoot. And when you've got guys like Walton Jr. and Sobey and a guy like Geordie Hunter picking and rolling to the rim, I think that makes sense.
Angus Glover out there at the moment. Ulbrich stepping outside. We know that he can hit that. Todd Blanchfield coming off another prolific off-season with the Mackay Meteors. Walton Jr. was looking for Lewis. The Hawks take it away. Ulbrich can't finish over the next star, but he was fouled on the way up. So tell us a little bit about Malik Lewis, Liam.
Well, excited to have him in the league. He had 19 years of age, out of Trinidad and Tobago, and played a couple of years in the ACB for Full Labrada, and last season in the G League with Mexico City, and he was in the draft cycle for the 2024 draft. Could have been picked up, maybe get a two-way, but I think he has bigger stocks than that potentially. So great opportunity for him to come into the Next Stars program, into the NBL, further develop his game, showcase what he can do, and put himself in that sort of first round conversation for 2025. But he's a lockdown defender. He can switch 1 through 4, and he's a very good catch and shoot guy as well. Can slash to the rim, get above the cup, pretty athletic. So he's good at a skill set that I think will adapt pretty well both to the NBL and the NBA. And it's about kind of building on that and working on some of those other areas as well.
How long's he been down under for?
He's been here for about a month and a half, putting in good work and getting acclimatised. And he went to the footy the other night with Adam Gibson.
Saw the Hawks beat the Dogs.
He's adopted the Hawks as his team. 97,000 he was amongst.
Yes, why not? Of course,
the MCG.
Mabior Chol playing for the Hawks. Quite often seen at South East Melbourne Phoenix games. They've got a connection in that part of the world to the Hawks. So our own Jenny Screen doing some good things with their programs as well, having taken up a role with Hawthorn in the recent years. Multiple-time Olympian.
Matt Hurt there with the fadeaway. Couple from mid-range for Hurt in this first quarter.
1-point game with 4 minutes remaining. Joel Peterson, Liam Santamaria with you. Coverage of the NBL Blitz here on the Gold Coast. First of 2 games this afternoon. Sobey steps back. And Dave O'Hickey can't control the rebound. Gee, it was a good story at the back end of last year, Dave O'Hickey, wasn't it? Just there was the emergence, and then there was the continued emergence, and it just kept happening.
So good. He's been a guy that teams have always felt has a credible amount of upside. Spent some time in Melbourne, South East Melbourne. Then he's been at the Hawks now for a couple of seasons. And, yeah, you're right. Start of the year, a couple of DMPs, very limited minutes. Just worked on his game, brought it every day at practice. Great team guy. And now, as he slices his way to the rim right there, his full talent is on display and he's becoming a really important player on a good team in the NBL.
Just I guess the versatility sort of came in and we saw him as that energy player that had come in and sparked them. But then the more he played, the more we saw of him, the more tools that we saw that he had. And he goes and has a really good season with Albury Wodonga in the NBL 1 East as well in the off seasons. Comes back and he's really ready to hopefully accept an even bigger role this season.
Yeah, I think so. And he's established kind of what he is as well. That he's a very reliable kind of Swiss Army knife on the defensive end. And an energy guy, like you say, here he is out in transition. Lost the handle right there. But I like this sort of situation. He's on the floor with Trey Kell, where he doesn't have to necessarily handle the rock, run the one. And he can play off the ball a little. I think that's where he's most comfortable at the offensive end.
He's absolutely in attack mode every time he gets it, just about. Matt Kenyon out there for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix has played a lot of his off-season basketball in recent years in this very building for the Gold Coast Rollers. This show court situated in this multi-sport precinct here. So we've got the squash off to our left and the indoor BMX centre to our right. The outdoor BMX centre out the back actually is the National High Performance Centre for the freestyle BMX squad. Of course, had a great deal of success at the recent Paris Olympics. Not every day you just see a lot of things in basketball stadiums. Peatling's got a piece of Kenyon and the ball on that one.
You're looking to get amongst the BMX at some stage this week, John.
I would happily spectate. I would happily spectate. As someone who broke multiple bones playing basketball in the front yard at my house, I don't think the extreme sports are for me.
Did you get out amongst it this morning, though? What did you get up to in the sunshine on the Gold Coast this morning?
Unfortunately, just preparing for the games, but looking forward to going into Surfers Paradise tonight, and then tomorrow with a couple of later games. We'll be, hopefully go for a bit of a run around the precinct here and maybe venture into town, maybe head down to Pack Fair.
Okay.
Shopping centre.
That's the spot?
Yep. Just go and pick up some merchandise or something like that.
Okay,
So
high-end sort of stuff is your bag, Joel?
very much not high-end. The lower end of the spectrum will do me very nicely. Maybe a pair of shorts would have been good to have worn this afternoon.
It is warm here on the coast.
Yeah, the pants were an interesting decision. Walton Jr. hanging and hitting.
I mean, this is a guy, all NBL first team. 2 seasons ago, grand final MVP, had that Larry Sangstock medal hanging around his neck at Kudos Bank Arena. High level performer. And after a year in China, he seems really excited to be back in the NBL.
And we know he's that pure point guard. He sets things up so well. He surveys the field. He gets his teammates involved. But the Southeast Melbourne know that when he needs to score, he can score. We put up a 40-burger, of course, down in Terrelgan against them. He's got so many strings to his bow.
Yeah, and he looks uber aggressive in the preseason so far. I think he's coming in saying, you know what, I'm gonna put points on the board for this team. You know, he's looked around at the rest of the roster. He said, look, Sobey and I think we're going to carry a big scoring load here. They want me on the front foot, and he looks very comfortable in that role.
Majuk out there for the Phoenix as well. Signed in the off-season after spending some time as a nominated replacement player down in Tassie. Froling and Harvey in the two-man game. Froling elects to go himself. Fades away, is a little bit strong. Angus Glover, who's coming off another great off-season. So many players have been so productive in the off-season. Majuk can't finish inside, but Angus Glover, grand final MVP with Eltham. You can see him lining up for the South East Melbourne Phoenix. You can rise with the Phoenix by heading to Ticketek or scanning the QR code on your screen and heading along to the Phoenix games this season, whether they're in a JCA or out in the heartlands at the State Basketball Centre. Terrific entertainment. There's so much to like about this Phoenix team as we head into NBL 25. Minute remaining in this first term. Joel Peterson, Liam Santamaria with you. Good contest unfolding too, 21-19. Wieskamp can't add to that, but Glover keeps it alive. A wild pass from Walton Jr. works out in the end. Wieskamp's able to get it to go.
Good vision. Walton Jr., Glover, good poise as he was falling out of bounds. And Wieskamp cashes in.
Rolling, looking for Blanchfield. Puts the head down and just burrows his way to the rack.
And that's what he can do, especially when he gets it on his left hand. Majuk, scout breakdown there. You've got to force Sam Froling right. He gets ahead of steam going to his left, and it's a bucket.
The Brisbane Brains Trust just sitting behind the bucket at that end of the court. Foul on Arnie Swakala-Bullock.
Your expectations for Sam Froling this season? Joel, our man Damon Lowry put the heat on him recently to up his production. He was 15 and 8 a game last season.
I feel like there's a lot of people that get frustrated by Sam unfairly. I think he's a super productive player. You can see what he can do for a really good side at the back end of last year. Yeah, it would be nice to have him have 25 and 10, but it is very hard to do. You can certainly see those nights where sometimes he doesn't look as involved, but he's a great player to watch. Trey Cal, time expires in the opening term, and Trey Cal does it with style. Terrific end to the opening frame, 25-24. The South East Melbourne Phoenix ahead. And we've seen some offensive fireworks in this first period, Liam.
Very fun first term. Tyler Harvey pouring on the points. He's got 9, 3 of 3 from long range. And, yeah, I mean, these teams have a lot of firepower. We know for sure the South East Melbourne Phoenix are going to score this season. And, yeah, the Hawks going along for the ride in this first quarter.
So plenty of highlights in that opening frame. Lockie Olbrich had the big one, dropping the hammer on Geordie Hunter. 53% shooting in that first frame from the South East Melbourne Phoenix. Maybe not a quarter for the defensive enthusiasts among us, but for those that don't mind a bit of offensive action, it was certainly good fun. Joe Wieskamp making a couple of attacking moves as well. So 1 point the spread at quarter time, 25-24. Joel Peterson and Liam Santamaria with you. Joining us from The Athletic, their main draft analyst, Sam Vecini. Sam, good to see you.
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Very well. Good to have you back here on the Gold Coast. We spent a bit of time together this time last year and down at the Convention Centre out at Carrara. How have you found the opening 2 days?
I love the Blitz. I'm happy to be here every year. It's one of my favorite scouting events. It's one of the atmosphere you guys create with the NBL is just so strong and so enjoyable that I love coming back here every year. And it's always good to see these teams, how they look early in the season. Like Southeast is probably the team I'm most looking forward to seeing throughout the course of the year because their roster is fascinating in so many ways. So plus they have Malik Lewis, who I'll be covering throughout the course of the year as a draft prospect. So really, really excited about this game so far.
Sam, always good to see you, man. Based in Melbourne these days, and so we get to see you more regularly, which is great. The draft process. You know, we know obviously the lead draft writer for the Athletic. You know, the draft process for the 2024 cycle wrapped up. Alex Sarr picked 2, 4 next stars drafted. You got to know them intimately during the course of last season. How quickly do you pivot from one cycle to the next?
Very quickly, very, very quickly. I have already started the 2025 draft guide. I'm through like 15 profiles based off of, last season's scouting, and those aren't locked or anything. We'll adjust them as necessary throughout the year, but there are a lot of really exciting prospects that we get to see, and for the next stars particularly, a couple of the guys that were here last year already are next stars again. So Rocco Zakarski we saw last night. Really excited to see Alex Tui tomorrow. And then all the new additions that the Next Stars program that Liam does a great job with, went out and found with Ethan Almanza and Malik Lewis on the court right now.
Kareem Lopez, who we'll see for the New Zealand Breakers as well a little bit later this afternoon. How do you manage it as we see Wieskamp going to the hoop? How do you manage it being sort of, yes, you're close to our competition, but you're a world away from the NBA, and that's sort of where a lot of the scouting is these days, and of course Europe. How do you manage that from an eyeballs perspective?
Yeah, look, everything in the world right now is so interconnected that it's not that difficult. If you have access to all of the games worldwide, I do. I'm very lucky that I have software that allows me to watch every single game that I need to in order to be across all of these players worldwide. My job isn't all that different from an NBA scout's in that respect. I'm trying to grind tape, and then I'll make a couple trips over to the United States throughout the course of the year.
Tyler Harvey with another triple. Was Tyler Harvey in D-Ruck's top 15 just quietly?
Testing my memory.
Is there a chance as Geordie Hunter rocks the rim down the other end? Is there a chance Tyler Harvey, who has averaged 15 a game consistently over each of his 4 seasons in the league, 20 a game, around that realm. He was all NBL first team at one point. Big for him last season, Sam. Wasn't in Ruck's top 15 at all.
Derek did a great job of getting a lot of people on the internet angry with that list. Look, anybody that makes a list like that, it was 15 names, right? I think you could ask 20 people to make a top 15 name list, and I think that you would probably have 20 different lists, right? I think Tyler Harvey probably should have been on that list if I was making the list, but I don't blame anybody for their opinions. Basketball's a sport that is rife for a lot of interpretation.
This is a man who can empathize with rankings and the difficult task it is to make them.
I can't even make a shopping list and get it all right, let alone a list of any number of basketball players.
No question. It's hard, man. It's really hard. We get to see Matthew Hurt, that beautiful high release point. Man, watching him operate in the mid-post is just going to be really, really fun this year. The way Southeast Melbourne is built, they're going to be able to play him a little bit at the 5. He's going to be such a mismatch nightmare in this league when he gets an opportunity to play in that role. Really, really fun player for Southeast.
We'll talk about the next stars shortly, but I'm keen for your thoughts on Lockie Olbrich, who we've seen a little bit of.
Here we go.
And we see him now, just finishing as he goes to the cup. Last year, he was one of the breakout players. He was one of the big winners out of the Blitz last year. What were you expecting coming into today, and what have you seen in the early stages?
I mean, look, he had that one-hand gather throwdown over Geordie Hunter. I mean, my goodness, that was unbelievable. Look, I've always had a soft spot for Lockie Olbrich. I think he is such an interesting prospect. It's really hard to find guys that are 6'9", 6'10" without shoes that have the hands that he does, has the coordination that he does, and the overall skill set that he does. So just a very impressive player.
1 point lead, 34-33. Joel Peterson, Sam Vecini, Liam Santa Maria with you here on the Gold Coast. Thanks to Experience Gold Coast at the NBL Blitz. Day 2, game 1. That's going to get more confusing as we go along. 15 games in all while we are here. So Sam, Malik Lewis is a fascinating prospect. So he could have gone through the draft process last year. He comes and tries his luck down under. What do you think the upside is for him out of 2024-25?
So Malik is a player type that NBA teams kind of scour the globe for, right? These switchable 6'6" with long arms, like athletic wings who can really defend, right? It's really hard to find players like that with this body type who can guard perimeter players like in the backcourt, who can guard wings. His thing is going to be, what does the shot look like this year? From having talked to Tommy Greer before the game, I know they're really excited about the way the shot looks right now. They said that, or Tommy particularly told me that the shot looks really good. So as long as he shoots it at a high level, I think he is a real NBA prospect that could very well go in the top 40. But, you know, we'll see where the overall ball skills settle in, and if he goes through a cold shooting spurt while he's here, you never know, right? But I'm excited about Malik. Malik's a guy that I've always really, really liked because it's just very difficult to find players like him who can defend like he does.
Have you got a comp for us? Someone that he plays like that we know?
It's any defensive first 6'6" swing, right? Like that's, there are a number of those players in the NBA right now. Like, Trevor Ariza is a little bit bigger than he is, I guess, but like Trevor Ariza would be like a good person for him to study tape-wise, right? I'm trying to think of other examples. There are a number of them, though, where teams are looking for players like this. And he's definitely one that has a chance to step into that role.
You feel like it's the kind of Torrey Craig type role, what he's kind of carved out?
It's a great name. Great name, Torrey Craig. And, Torrey was obviously here as well, so it's a great kind of comp in terms of the way the development could go. And, he's from Trinidad and Tobago, obviously played in the G League last year and is well-traveled, extremely mature kid from all of the intel that I know. Just these kids that are so well-traveled, they grow up faster than everybody else, right?
You can get a Hawks membership by scanning the QR code on your screen for season 2024-25. Such an exciting campaign last year in the sandpit. And the Hawks are going to rock the gong again this season. Head to the Hawks website for all the details. Joel Peterson, Sam Vecini, Liam Santa Maria with you.
Speaking of guys with some upside for this season, I feel like Angus Glover fits into that category. He's your prototypical change of scenery guy. Heading into a new season, he was stuck on that bench late last year in Sydney, but oh my goodness, what an enormous NBL 1 season he had. He's been red hot from long range late in that season and early in the preseason. And chatting with him pre-game, he's enjoying life in Melbourne. He's enjoying being a part of a new group, and I see the potential for a big bounce-back campaign for Glover this year.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with you. Angus is a guy that I've always had a real soft spot for because there aren't a crazy number of local players that are super high-level shooters, right? Like, especially guys with size that are 6'5" to 6'6", right? He's just had that unfortunate run with the knee injuries, but to me, he's always struck me as a guy that should be a long-term starter in this league as soon as he would get that clean run without injuries. And hopefully we get that here for a couple of years.
A great episode of The Huddle came out early in the off-season with Angus Glover. Early in the process, when he moved to southeast Melbourne with Pete Hooley, it was a fascinating conversation about just the struggles that he's gone through with his body, and now he's in a place where he's feeling good and confident and playing like it as well. Ooh. So is that man.
He's getting crafty with it. And he's talking smack too, Walton Jr.
I've seen a little bit of that over the first day and a bit. Scores tied away at 39.
He's telling Tavo Hickey all about what he just put on display.
Just over 5 minutes remaining here in this second period. I asked Liam this question earlier, Sam. How do you think that Southeast Melbourne roster fits together with their new additions?
I think that they have the look of probably the best offensive team in the league and, potentially one of the more questionable defensive groups. And we saw that in the first 5 minutes of this game, right, where it felt like Illawarra kind of got wherever they wanted. And to me, it's all going to be about trying to mix and match players. The good thing with Southeast this year is that they've done a really good job of filling out the depth of that roster. Last year, obviously, they dealt with an immense number of injuries, and that just completely cratered the depth. I mean, they were really into their developmental players playing real significant minutes last season. So I would expect that won't be the case this year, just given the sheer number of guys that they have on the roster. And it's really going to come down to how well does this team defend, right? What lineups work best for them to have that mix of great high-level offense and enough defense to get by? Where does that balance come in? Is it Malik Lewis coming in a little bit more and being able to guard 1 through 4? I think Angus Glover does a decent job defensively when he's out there. He's tough, he's physical, he's strong.
So do you suspect it's not that group we're looking at the moment of Walton Jr., Sobey, Wieskamp, Hurt, and Hunter?
I think that it is probably unlikely to be that is their closing group. But if you want to start them, whatever, to me it's all about the guys that are on the court at the end. And the good thing about this team is that they have a number of options that they can mix and match depending on the game flow, the way it's rolling throughout the course of the day. Any given day, you could have any different set of guys that look good on a given night. So I think absolutely that they'll just kind of play it by ear, but they have a number of guys that I think could really, really, really allow them to be effective.
David Hickey's gone down here. Derek Walton Jr. making moves offensively.
Justin Tatum's not at all happy about what happened there. Assistant coach Sam Gruggan's up and about as well. Here you get another look at it. Geordie Hunter making contact there. The Hawks coaching staff were making motions as if he really dropped the shoulder and cleaned up Davo Hickey. And officials are going to go
for an act of violence. We can do that.
Review for an act of violence as a result.
It's my decision, Sam.
Meanwhile, Derek Walton
We're
Jr.
reviewing
is
it
cooking.
for an act of violence to see what happened. It'll come and we'll see from there.
So Chris Reed having a look at it, chatting to Mike Kelly as well. 43 apiece, 4:26 remaining here in this second period.
Ooh, throwback Leonard Copeland jersey.
Oh, love that.
In the background momentarily.
Should be more of it. Should be more of it.
There's been some fun jerseys rolling. There's a real sort of summer league vibe with the jerseys.
Yep.
At the Blitz these days in the Gold Coast. And Andre Moore throwback Brisbane Bullets jersey was in the building last night.
I did see a Flint Tropics Jackie Moon jersey downstairs. That was very nice.
I'll tell you what else there
Player
was.
owner coach.
Last night. There's a lot of Rocco Zikarsky jerseys.
Number one, we're shooting 2 shots.
Today, too.
Just a normal foul against Hunter. Of course, he had the massive dunk over Magno. Wasn't that something?
Man.
Best shot blocker in the league, just about, and Rocco says no worries.
That was something last night with Rocco, him throwing that down. Rocco's probably the guy in the league that I'm most excited to track throughout the year, just because you can't teach 7'3", right? And that's something that Liam and I have talked about substantially over the course of the last year. And I think Liam has kind of come down on it on the right side, where you can't teach 7'3" with movement skill in some way. And, you know, at the end of the day, Rocco is somebody that he does have like kind of high hips, has a higher center of gravity. He's really going to have to learn to play with a little bit more bend and flexibility, I think, in order to, you know, make that highest level in the NBA that I think he's capable of. But, you know, a kid that really wants it, like I got to spend a little bit of time with him last night, and you can just tell, like, he really wants to be great. He really, you know, he got to go over to the United States to train a little bit this summer, and he got a taste of what it looked like and what it felt like, and you could see that that rubbed off on him in a real way. So I'm really, really excited to see what becomes of Rocco. But the thing for Rocco is that Tyrell Harrison looks unbelievable right now, and he's going to have to beat out Tyrell for real minutes. So you know, Tyrell won't play more than 25 to 30, so there will be a role for Rocco. But man, Tyrell looked great yesterday, and you know that's the talk out of Brisbane camp certainly, is that Tyrell looks like
he's been
a fantastic player.
No, he does. He looks great. He looks like he's at the point of his career where it's all starting to make sense. It's all starting to feel comfortable. He's comfortable in his own skin, his own body, and as a result, he's been highly productive. I think you hit the nail on the head there. 25, I think, would probably be that number, which means there's 15 minutes a game there for Rocco with upside. Right, with room for upside. Tyrell, touch wood, hopefully he can stay healthy, but over the course of his career he's had some issues in that regard. So they've got a two-headed monster there at the 5 spot. You know, they've got 40 minutes of elite rim protection and, you know, high-level 7-foot play at the 5 that you're going to have to deal with.
It's always fun to see the way teams handle the 5 in this league, right? Like, you know, Brisbane obviously is going with 2 true bigs in Rocco and Tyrell. Southeast has gone with, you know, Jordy Hunter, who's a true big, but a guy that's, you know, a little bit more of a skilled big that's going to roll to the basket, have good footwork, finish around the rim. And then Matt Hurt's probably going to play a lot of backup 5 for them, and he's just like a dynamic offensive mid-post player who's going to pick and pop and do things. So, and then you look at somebody like Perth, right, with Keanu Pinder, super athlete, and then Ethan Almanza will probably play a little bit of the 5, I would think. And Ethan's a guy that's just super skilled, great in the short roll, you know, good touch around the basket. Has some work to do a little bit defensively, but, you know, just the way teams try to manage that 5 position and get marginal advantages is always fascinating to me in the NBL.
Zoran Zakarski, you're not the only one who's keen to watch him. I think there's about 25 people that might have flown in from overseas who are keen to watch him, and they represent a certain 22 organisations, plus, of course, his locals here. We're in his part of the world, in southeast Queensland as well. Am I right in saying you haven't done a mock draft as yet?
I mean, look, like I have one out. You know, I think I did one in like July or August. I had them like around 15 or so. That thing is such a watch list early in the season, right? You know, Rocco could go anywhere from the top 10 to, you know, late in the first, early second, if things like really broke poorly. But like if he's going to go in the early second, like there's an opportunity to come back. He's so young that like there shouldn't be a rush on Rocco to me. They should let him take his time developing, right? That to me is the biggest thing. As soon as he's emotionally and, you know, mature enough, you know, physically to go over and play in the NBA, that should be the timeline to me, as opposed to, you know, let's rush and get him over there now, you know, maybe before he's ready.
5-point game here. What's the, if he is to go sort of at the higher end of that range, what do you want to see from him?
Yeah, I would love to see. Last night I felt like, and you know, he's so young, he's 18, these guys, it takes time, right? Last night it felt like at times he would get a little bit tired near the end of his rotations, right? I would like to see him just play with this incredible motor all the time, play exceptionally hard, and have the stamina to be able to play through those 5-6 minute bursts at a time and continue to play with that high level of rim protection, that high level of rim running ability. I'd love to see him set physical, strong screens consistently. To me, it's the little stuff with Rocco. We know he's going to block shots. We know he's going to throw down these powerful dunks. But if he can consistently get on the court and play with that high motor, high energy, again, you can't teach 7'3". You can't teach the physical tools. That's going to allow him to be productive, in my opinion. So to me, it's more about the conditioning and about the little details like setting screens and consistently being available, protecting the rim without fouling.
Timeout, Illawarra. Jeez, Walton Jr. looks sharp.
Doesn't he? Well, 14 points now at game high. He looks outstanding, does Derek Walton Jr. So the next game we've got coming up is Perth in New Zealand, 3:30 Eastern time, 5:30 for our friends across the ditch. Of course, you can get all the action on the NBL app across the course of the season. Latest videos, podcasts, NBL Now, the marketplace, all the breaking news direct to your device. Download the NBL app via the App Store or head to nbl.com.au/app to have all of that direct to your phone. Plenty of Next Stars news on there throughout the season. We'll hear plenty about Ethan Almanza and Karim Lopez. So we've got their 2 teams coming up next. The 2 internationals. Karim Lopez, we know he's here for 2 years, a 17-year-old. And then Ethan Almanza, who is about as well credentialed as you can be at his age. What are you expecting from the 2 of them, Sam?
Yeah, Ethan's the one I'm much more familiar with. Ethan is, like you said, one of the most credentialed, awarded players in his age group that has really come through the European basketball system in the last decade, like really since Jonas Valanciunas. Like he's the last guy that won 3 MVP awards at under 18, under 20 level competitions. Ethon is just so skilled, so talented, unbelievable footwork, great touch around the rim. The thing that I'm most excited to see, though, is the difference between him and Alex Sarr, in my opinion, is twofold. So first, I think Ethon's hands are just unbelievable. We saw at times last year Alex's hands, his ability to kind of get into that contested area and bring down rebounds, a little bit of an issue from time to time. Ethon's hands are unbelievable. He's going to catch everything. He's going to be able to kind of get those things in a vice grip and be able to rebound and also catch balls that are a little bit out of his area at times. The second thing that I'm really excited about is, man, teams love to put two on the ball against Bryce Cotton, right? Mm-hmm. They love to send two guys, try to double Bryce, get the ball out of his hands. Well, if you do that now in a screen situation where Ethon's the guy setting the screen, and Ethon just pops into that short roll, that foul line area to the NBL three-point line area in the middle of the court, Ethon can really take advantage of those 4-on-3 situations that get created by that, can really pass, can really make quick decisions.
Is the ability to start to stretch it a little bit more, the swing skill for him to maximize his draft stock?
To me, it's more the defense. Last year in the G League, I felt like his defensive stance a little bit let him down at times. I felt he would get his shoulders a little bit over his feet and wouldn't actually be able to access the quickness that he actually has. Like, he's not an immobile big. He is somewhat fluid athletically. So to me, it's all about, the Perth coaches, JR, John Riley, those guys, working with him on his defensive stance and making sure that he consistently is balanced and able to take advantage of his tools to their best capability. To me, it's the defensive side for Ethon. I don't know that he necessarily needs to shoot it to be an effective five-man in the NBA, but he does need to be an effective defender. And that's where I would like to see the growth.
There's so much upside among this crop. Extremely exciting, and as you mentioned earlier, we get to see Alex Tui for the first time tomorrow as the other next star in the group.
Tui looks good, just quietly, Joel.
That's because he's wearing those beautiful Kings uniforms as well, Liam. They are, oh, Lord.
He's bulked up a little. His stroke is on point after a big off-season of work. Really excited about what year two as the next star is going to look like for Alex Tui.
And for what it's worth, that's the name I've gotten a lot as well from people that have seen Sydney practice, that were around Alex when he was with the Boomers this summer. That is absolutely the name I've gotten to be excited about, is Tui. There's been real genuine growth there, and I'm excited to see him tomorrow. He's, Rocco throughout the season is probably the guy that I'm most looking forward to seeing, but Alex, at the Blitz, I want to see how real that is, how real the information that I've gotten that he looks like a different kind of player is.
Matt Hurt finishes once, can't finish twice, but he's going to go to the line. Illawarra just gapped Southeast Melbourne a little bit. It was 56-48, now 56-50. Joel Peterson, Liam Santamaria, and Sam Vecini with you. NBL Blitz on the Gold Coast. 30 degrees today, beautiful sunny outside, and our man Sam's here in a long sleeve and jeans. It's a very bold choice, Sam.
I think it's the right choice. Typically, I come to these events and it's freezing in these gyms. Like, you go to Summer League, my goodness, I get cold in Las Vegas.
This is not the Peach Jam.
It's not the Peach Jam.
The shorts, the polo, you'll be fine.
Might have to go out and make some purchases if that's the case.
Come to Pacific Fair with me tomorrow. There's about 3 million shops there, so you won't be short of an option.
Pacific Fair's newest ambassador, Joel Peterson, giving it a couple of drops. Sam, all these scouts that are in the building, right? Joel mentioned them before, 25, 26 NBA guys from 22 teams over the course of this week. It's always fun for you at the Blitz to catch up with some of those guys that, you based in Australia now, you talk with them on the phone a lot of WhatsApp, of course, but in person, a chance to catch up, have a meal and break bread.
No question. I mean, I look forward to the games, but I look forward to that just as much as the games, right? Getting a chance to see friends that I haven't seen in a long time, and, I see a decent amount of them at Summer League, see them during Hoop Summit, events like Final Four, things like that, but it's always just great to see people that you're close with and you talk throughout the year. And many of my closest friends work in basketball at this point, right? So it's always good to go out, get dinner, get breakfast, things like that. So I love it. I truly do love it. I love the environment that you guys have fostered here with the Blitz. And, you know, whether or not I head out to Hoop Fest, we will figure out. I was thinking about it. I know that there are some NBA folks coming out to that, and they're looking forward to that as well. So you guys do a really good job of eventizing the calendar and finding ways to convince people to come over and, you know, have a great time at, you know, places like Perth, which is, from what I've been told, unbelievable, and certainly like the Gold Coast, which I can attest is unbelievable.
Liam and I can take all the credit for that, absolutely. Holbrook again throwing it down. He's done it with some force a couple of times already in this game. Ticking down toward half-time, 58-52.
Man, has this game just been everything that we expected from this Southeast Melbourne team? 58 points given up already in the second quarter, and you know they're certainly scoring. They're keeping up with them too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we got 110 combined points.
Yep.
As we approach half-time.
I think we had 49-49 last night between Melbourne and Cairns, and that looked like a bit of an offensive showcase. And this is quite something else.
Yeah, I would expect that Southeast games look a lot like this. They've built a team that is going to play an exciting brand of basketball, and you know, I know Mike Kelly was excited about getting a bunch of shooters in this year, and certainly they're going to play an offensive style.
I feel like the question for him is, like, do you lean into that and say, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to try and outscore them. So that's who we are, and let's not try to swim upstream and be something different. Or do you say, great, okay, we've got lots of offensive firepower. We've really got to move these bodies around, like you were saying before, work these lineups to try to find groups that can get some stops.
So to me, what that comes down to is if you have the best player on the court on any given night, you can do that and you can play that style. So can Derek Walton be back to the level he was the last time he was here, where he's clearly, you know, if not the best player in the league, one of the 3 best players in the league? If he isn't quite that guy, then I think it becomes a little bit harder to play that all-out offensive style. But if he is that guy, I think that it's completely reasonable for them to just say, you know, caution to the wind, let's go and play all-out offense and just let Derek slice and dice these teams up and go.
I mean, he looks terrific. I think Nathan Sobey's going to be a tremendous kind of Robin to his Batman, but I don't know. I'm not sure that's an approach we've seen being all that successful in the NBL. So, you know, they're going to need some guys that aren't known defenders step up and be more productive at that end of the floor. And they're going to need some guys that, you know, like Matt Kenyon, like Malik Lewis, who are lockdown guys. They're going to need those guys, I think, to play important roles over the course of the year.
The critical guy is Jordy Hunter, right? They need Jordy Hunter to consistently anchor the interior of their defense. Because, like, I love Matt Hurt offensively. Matt Hurt has never been a particularly good defensive player throughout his career. Joe Wieskamp is a super athlete, has long arms. I don't think he's like a deficient defender in this league necessarily, but I don't know that he's going to be a stopper either, right? I mean, Matt Hurt can do that all day. That's like a 65-70% shot for Matt Hurt if you don't get a hand in his face.
Well, this might be a 65% shot for Trey Cal, the way we saw him close the first quarter. Can he do it again here in the second? He's fouled this time. He'll go to the line to shoot 3.
So look, if you can play Jordy Hunter on the interior, consistently get him to be able to anchor that defense, and have one of Malik Lewis and Matt Kenyon in the game to be able to take on some of those tougher defensive matchups, you know, be it Joe Wieskamp or Nathan Sobey, depending on who has it that game, who doesn't have it that game, maybe exiting. I think you can get enough on the defensive end to be able to make it work. Also, you know, like I said, like I don't think Angus is a bad defender by any stretch. They have enough bodies and options to be able to throw at the problem. Mm-hmm. It's just how do you kind of navigate that is going to be fascinating. Like I said, most interesting team to me this year.
Sobey from half court flings it, and we're getting the full Southeast Melbourne experience at halftime. They've given up 62 to the Hawks. They trail by 8, 62 to 54. We've had plenty of fireworks in this one. Joel Peterson, Liam Santamaria, and Sam Vecini with you. It's been a really exciting game. Derek Walton Jr. has looked very sharp for the South East Melbourne Phoenix. He's got 14 points on 5 of 8 shooting. Matt Hurts, 5 of 8 for his 12 points. Angus Glover with 6 and 3 rebounds coming off the bench for the Illawarra Hawks. Tyler Harvey was a flamethrower early with 12. Trey Kell's got 13. And Sam Froling has 13 as well. Sam, how are you going to spend the rest of the week here on the Gold Coast?
Yeah, look, I'm excited to be here. I mean, a lot of my time will be certainly at the arena, 5 or 6 hours a day, and then the rest of the time I'll be out to dinner, out to breakfast, out to lunch.
A beaches man, or?
I wish I had time to go out and do it, right? Like, that'd be amazing. I wish, I'm staying right around Surfers Paradise. It would be amazing, but I don't know. We'll see. If I can get down to the pool one day, it'll be a win.
That'll be good. And you've embraced the Australian lifestyle. You're a big Bombers man in the AFL.
Liam and I, unfortunately, have that in common. I love the Essendon Football Club. I would like them to be successful at some point.
It's all right. The W team made the finals last year, and they've got plenty of talent. They get Bonnie Toogood back at the end of the season, and all might be well.
My wife and I went to more AFLW games than we did AFL games last year, so we love the AFL team, or AFLW team. Shout out Maddie Prospakis, out here just getting every single contested possession every single night.
It tends to be my experience of the footy as well, is to go to more W games than AFL games. It is naturally a great product. So halftime here on the Gold Coast, 62-54. The Illawarra Hawks are leading the South East Melbourne Phoenix. Sam, hey, thanks for your time. Great to chat. Look forward to catching up with you more throughout the course of the season.
Anytime, guys. I'm always happy to come on.
Sam Bassini, the lead draft analyst for The Athletic, joining us halftime here on the Gold Coast. The Hawks by 8. Second half coming up shortly.
Play the game any NBL fan can win. Supercoach NBL. Be the coach. Challenge your mates. Win prizes. Head to supercoach.com.au today.
You're visiting the Gold Coast for the first holiday. I would say just beware because you might not want to leave. You might want to stay. So definitely a beautiful place to be at. The food, the people. The scenery is great. I would definitely encourage you guys to come out. Bringing your family here to the nice sanctuary is also just amazing as well. So I think it's just a great place. This has definitely been one of the best experiences that I've had so far at the Gold Coast. I would recommend everyone come out and check it out because I'm loving it so far.
Seeing the koalas with our little koalas.
Want to stay up to date with all the latest direct from the NBL?
That is enormous!
Well, download the free NBL app now. It's jam-packed with live scores, stats, exclusive content, and much more. Get it from the App Store and Google Play now.
Eight-point lead to the Illawarra Hawks at half-time over the South East Melbourne Phoenix, 62-54. Joel Peterson, Liam Santamaria with you on this day 2 of the NBL Blitz on the Gold Coast, proudly supported by Experience Gold Coast. Matt Hurt has been involved. He's got 12 points early. Derek Walton's been busy as well. Plenty of offensive fireworks, Liam. Maybe not the defensive performance either team would be wanting.
That's okay. It's pre-season and it's fun to watch, so I'm enjoying it. Derek Walton Jr., man, he's on triple-double. Watch 14 points, 4 boards, 6 assists. Ooh, he's been crafty with it. And there he is shaking his head. He doesn't feel like anyone can stop him at the moment. Trey Kell's been strong as well for Adelaide. And he's got a team high 14. And yeah, they've been pouring on the points, 24 or more for both teams in each of the quarters so far. And yeah, it's a matter of both these teams establishing a little bit more of a defensive identity moving forward.
Absolutely. Of course, the Hawks have had a little bit more of a disjointed pre-season than the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, who are sort of into their work at this stage a little bit more, but they're both still working it out. And Lockie Olbrich has been a real highlight factory in that first half. He started off with a thunderous right-hand jam, and then he had another one toward the end of that half as well. We knew that coming in he was going to be a player to watch, and he's delivered thus far.
Yeah, no, he's been exciting. I just hope he can have a really big season, you know, and he can parlay that into some increased draft stock and get himself onto those boards, because he's a guy with a whole bunch of upside. Those emphatic finishes on the rim are exciting. I think the swing skill for him is, can he knock down the 3-ball consistently? If he's going to have an opportunity at that NBA level, it's going to be because he has that versatile skill set.
And we've seen him at the lower level being able to knock down the 3-ball, but also facilitate a bit of the offense. For a big man, we know that he's a terrific athlete, but he's got great passing skills as well. He's got good vision. So he does have a couple of different strings to his bow.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, there's a place for those types of players in the NBA. Darnell Munster's a little bit like that as well. A big guy who can do things around the rim, but can make plays facing the basket as well. Put it on the floor and drive guys and use that explosive first step. So, yeah, Olbrich's got a bunch of upside, and he's flashed a little bit of that in this first half.
And plenty of players have in this first half. Of course, we're here on the Gold Coast, proudly supported by Experience Gold Coast. 160 world-class experiences within 30 minutes drive of the central Gold Coast area. Of course, world-class restaurants, beaches, golf courses, surfing, the theme parks. You can go up into the mountains out the back here as well, not too far from where we are, and explore up there. It is a beautiful place, 30 degrees and sunny today. It is a gorgeous day here on the Gold Coast, and we're lucky to be here at the Carrara Indoor Sports Centre. Half-time in Game 1 here at Day 2 on the NBL Blitz. It is the Illawarra Hawks 62 leading the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix 54. The second half is coming up in a couple of moments' time.
I'm thrilled to tell you about Swim Start, a game changer for our littlest swimmers. Swim Start is making waves by breaking down barriers for learn to swim lessons in Queensland. We believe every child should have a chance to learn this important skill. That's why Swim Start is offering vouchers valued up to $150 for eligible children up to 4 years of age. Parents, carers and guardians, this is your chance to dive in. Check your eligibility online and apply now to create a generation of confident swimmers. Let's make a splash together.
Discover the ultimate in courts, Dream Courts, the official court partner of the NBL. As the leading experts in tailor-made courts, there are so many reasons to choose Dream Courts. Whether for casual backyard enjoyment or professional-grade competition, the fully customisable courts redefine how you play. Dream Courts offers an unparalleled playing experience for everyone. Elevate your game with a Dream Court designed just for you. Visit dreamcourts.com.au to get a quote today.
Want to stay up to date with all the latest direct from the NBL?
That is enormous!
Well, download the free NBL app now. It's jam-packed with live scores, stats, exclusive content, and much more. Get it from the App Store and Google Play now.
Half-time here at the Gold Coast, and it is 62-54, the Illawarra Hawks over the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. About to get set for a second half in this game. Ian Santa Maria and Joel Peterson with you. Great to have so much insight here rolling throughout the broadcasts across the course of the week. You'll hear from plenty of the people that are here in the building, which is absolutely terrific. These two teams getting ready for a second half. What do you think of Justin Tatum would make of his team's first half of this NBL Blitz?
Yeah, I think you'd be comfortable with what they're doing at the offensive end. I think if you have 62 after 2 quarters, you're feeling pretty good about that. They're shooting 52% from the field, 50% from 3. Tyler Harvey is shooting the heck out of the ball, and Trey Kell's looking comfortable. Sam Frolling's aggressive. So you're getting to the free throw line. You're shooting about 90% from there. You'd feel pretty good about all of that. But he'd similarly be wanting his team to step it up defensively. Now they've been able to. The Phoenix have only shot 1 of 9 from 3, so they've limited their 3-point opportunities and they've made them tough. And they have the Phoenix haven't hurt them from there, but the points in the paint have been at a high level, 70% from 2, plenty of trips to the free throw line. So sit down, stay in front of the ball, guard your guy, and let's see if we can keep him out of the paint and get some stops.
Yeah, absolutely. 15 seconds to go before this second half starts. We're on a little bit of celebrity watch here on the Gold Coast
Celebrity watch
this week, Liam, and I'm going to issue you a bit of a challenge. Whether you can find the most notable person that's in the building across the course of the weekend. I'm talking not necessarily just basketball notable, but notable generally. And I'll start. Last night, yes. I am 99% certain the Federal Treasurer was here. Jim Chalmers. He was sitting courtside with his kids.
Yep.
And I thought, Jim's here.
Yes.
I'll be able to squeeze a few dollars out of the great man. Of course, he's Queensland-based. There's Nathan Sobey.
And this is what we're talking about. What kind of pick-and-roll coverage are you executing? As Sobey, first possession, 9 seconds into the second half, just peels off the ball screen. Glides his way. He's so dynamic going to his left hand. He's a right-hander that teams try to keep off his left hand. And he finishes through the contact.
It's going to be fascinating to see exactly what he produces this season. He is one of the big watchers of the campaign. And of course, this is a Southeast Melbourne team that had been so modelled in the image of Mitch Creek. And they've lost their face of the franchise. And now it's sort of turned over to this new guard to try and shepherd through the next era of Phoenix basketball as Froling hits the midi. And that must be a really exciting thing for the club at the moment. Plenty of talent that they can call on. And different kinds of players to watch what Mitch Creek offered as well. We knew that he was, a bit of an all-rounder and so capable in all facets of the game, and now they've loaded up and got a lot of talent around this core. Tyler Harvey just continues to put the moves on, so too does Matt Hurd at the other end.
Derek Walton Jr.'s starting the second half on the bench. Angus Glover comes into the starting lineup in his place. Hopefully he's not on ice. He's had such a big first half, Walton Jr. Hopefully we see more of him.
I've got a feeling he'd be the type of player that would hate being on the bench as well. He just strikes me as he just wants to be out there.
Is there a player that loves it?
Oh, big block from Froling. But you know those players that sit at the end of the bench and they're grumpy just because they're on the bench?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, everyone wants to play. Yeah, Walton Jr.'s a hooper.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, he was here last night watching, I think he must be tight with Rob Edwards.
Yep.
Because he was actually barking from the stands as Rob Edwards was getting busy.
And I think Rob Edwards was here earlier as well.
Okay.
I think I spotted him down the baseline. So having made just a short journey away from the accommodation where all the teams are, having got his media day commitments out of the way this morning. Don't quote me on that, but I'm fairly certain that I saw Rob Edwards. Talking to a couple of people in the Cairns camp as well this morning. They're confident that Edwards and Armstrong all okay out of those couple of awkward falls that they had in that last quarter last night, which is good news. Nothing serious.
Edwards looks good, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a real player in this league.
Really dynamic. Pete Woolley was high on him in our coverage last night. And you can absolutely see why. And there's Hurt stretching the floor.
Well, Hurt's got 15 now at a really high clip. That's his first knockdown from long range. But showing a little bit of why Southeast Melbourne brought him in, what he can do at the offensive end.
Lockie Olbrich the same at the other end of the floor. Lee back out there now as well. Wieskamp on the slash.
Does that well, Joe Wieskamp. He's such a threat around the perimeter and moves well without the ball that, you know, if they can open up that lane, the back cut is available. And he does a good job of reading the defenses. Lockie Olbrich continues to go to work around the hoop. He's in double figures.
Just displaying his touch as well. Lockie Olbrich. 13 on the afternoon. Now in the open court, we know that he can facilitate here. Peatling with the finish.
Beautiful stuff from Olbrich. Putting it all on display. So a couple of buckets in a row from inside the paint. And then there, the ability to rip it off the defensive glass. Attack in transition down the middle cylinder. Great poise, good vision. Slight little look away. And he sets Peatling up perfectly at the rim.
You can rise with the Phoenix this season by getting Southeast Melbourne tickets through Ticketek. JCA are out at the State Basketball Centre there. Great atmosphere. All Phoenix games. Scan the QR code on your screen or head to Ticketek and rise with the Phoenix this season. 73-63 Illawarra at the moment getting it done over Southeast Melbourne. Perth and New Zealand, our next game. See a couple of the breakers in the back corner, including Sam Anenga of his shot at the moment. Ty Webster up the other end in a bucket hat, which is very Gold Coast appropriate for the Perth Wildcats. Very Ty Webster appropriate too, I'd argue.
You know, the Wildcats are one of the teams that spend a lot of time here at the gym. Now, they're, of course, playing in the next game, so it makes sense that they're here right now. But John Riley, the entire coaching staff here last night, scouting the other teams, they make the most of this opportunity here to get a look at all these other teams and prepare for the season ahead.
Lewis at the free throw line. Trying to open his account on the afternoon. It's the second one to go. So from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Wouldn't that be a part of the world to grow up?
Yeah, he's actually kind of reasonably late to the game, Malik Lewis. I think he started playing basketball about 5 or 6 years ago. So travel from Olbrich, slightly indecisive before making that attack to the rim. Grew up playing soccer predominantly and a bit of cricket.
Yep. Imagine him charging in.
He can bowl. He was very excited when the Phoenix decided that they were going to play a little indoor cricket as part of a change-up to their preseason preparations. He said Luke Rosendale was best of field, but that, you know, he got some work done.
Getting some work done there as well with the pull-up. Just a 203. He's an imposing physical prospect. Harvey floats at home. Speaking of Darius Days, see him on the Illawarra bench at the moment, not cleared to play as you mentioned earlier, but another one who just sitting courtside a little bit earlier watching the Hawks warm up. Look at Darius Days and you go, oh boy, he's a big human.
Got for sure. I look at this Tyler Harvey, these shooting clips, and say, oh boy, the efficiency that he's getting it done with right now. But yeah, Darius Days can shoot it. And by all reports, chatting with Dan Greeder, Todd Blanchfield pre-game, they say he's a really good dude. He's assimilating really well into the group. Being a guy that's been on Matt Campbell's radar for a couple of years, then he comes over with Shanghai, plays well against the Hawks a few weeks ago, and here we are. He's signed, sealed, not quite delivered, waiting on the letter of clearance to arrive. And the Hawks are hoping that might come through before their second hit out here at the Blitz.
They've got Perth on Tuesday as their second game in the late game of the two. Brisbane, Melbourne, the early game on Tuesday. We move just up the road, actually, further toward the freeway to the Gold Coast Sports and Leisure Centre for the remaining games of this NBL Blitz. Well populated again today, plenty of fans in. I did see, in terms of our vintage jersey chat, I think it's an old Atlanta Hawks Pete Maravich jersey over the other side of the court there, which is a very nice piece of kit. Owen Foxwell into the game. Ben Air never lacking confidence. Pre-season, regular season, off-season, any old season. Ben Air will just jack it up.
Beautiful shot from Ben Air. But can I say, seeing you... Oh, heavy contact there. Offensive foul is going to be called on... Sorry, a defensive foul on Ben Air. Seeing you whip out the binoculars to spot vintage jerseys in the crowd is a beautiful thing.
He's actually sitting, so the gentleman in the Pete Maravich jersey is sitting 4 seats across from the gentleman in the Leonard Copeland jersey. Okay. So they've got their little vintage jersey enclave over there on the other side of the court.
I like it.
Yeah, only because I'm half blind that I need the binoculars when I'm in an arena like this to spot things a little bit further away. It's all of the trade in other sports that you need a little bit more frequently. Halfway gone in this third period. Joel Peterson, Liam Santa Maria with you. Hawks by 7. An offensive showcase, this contest. Hunter going at Olbrich, up and under, beautiful finish.
Patient, big, strong, solid work from Jordan Hunter. He's known more as a rim rolling big, but there has the advantage over Olbrich down low. Oh, the candy solved.
Hickey getting inside, Lee with the finish. Haven't spoken too much about Geordie Hunter as yet, of course. Member of those successful Sydney Kings teams. Went and played in Latvia in the off-season and would have enjoyed everything that comes with that in that part of the world. But he comes here to this Southeast Melbourne Phoenix team and it's a really big opportunity for him to continue his development.
And he put a ring on it as well recently. So he's in a good place. Congratulations to he and his new wife. And another guy looking to take advantage of a change of scenery. 4 Sydney Kings championship players in Hunter, Walton Jr., Glover and Vodanovic on this Phoenix squad.
Tommy V's been on a couple of championship teams since then. Certainly one last year with the Jack Jumpers that he was a part of late in the piece. Just wins everywhere he goes, the big fella. Hung Jung Lee's an interesting one. We see him checking out of the game along with Olbrich. Times last year he sort of worked his way into a little bit more of a role. We saw him rebound. He's pretty active out there. He'll be another one that Justin Tatum could potentially get a bit of improvement out of this season. So they've sort of got the baseline of last year plus a second year to build and get a little bit more out of a bit of the group, which is exciting for the Hawks.
Absolutely. They've got big plans. Foxwell scores at the rim right there. They've got big plans for young Jung Lee this season. Still only 23, a lot of room for growth. Chatting with Coach Tatum last night, he was saying that they want him to put the ball on the deck a little bit more this year. You know his dynamic from three-point territory as Davo Hickey rocks himself into a pull-up triple.
Speaking of.
But they want Hwang Jung Lee to attack the closeout a little bit this season and make teams have to think about it as just like Matt Hurt does there as he kicks it out to Kenyon. At 15 a game in Japan at the end of last season, Lee. And we know he can put points on the board, and they've got plans for him to be a really important contributor this season.
Sobi was coming downhill at a rapid rate of knots there, and maybe a little bit too quick even for him. 10-point lead to the Hawks, who absolutely spitlicated Southeast Melbourne on a couple of occasions last year. One by 28, one by 38. Phoenix winning the early matchups between the teams. Peatling comes over the back there and he's called for a foul.
Spifflicated is one of my favourites.
It's a real Andrew Gaze vibe, the spifflication. You can get NBL 25 ready this season. Scan the QR code on the screen for your chance to win. You can win a signed jersey of the team of your choice, a KO 3-month voucher, a $130 NBL store gift card as well, plus more. So you can get involved with that and get ready for NBL 25.
Okay, quick, scan before it leaves the screen. Scan the QR code.
This season, we dream big. Hoops Fest in a couple of weeks out west, off the back of the Blitz. Going to be a big couple of weeks in the NBL. Sobey can't finish with the double clutch. Luke Yates getting a bit of run now for the Hawks. Blanchfield cutting to the hoop.
Good take, Hickey playing well out there. Double figures scoring, but they're putting it on the floor and creating for his teammates. 5 guys in double figures, the Hawks, and Lee's a bucket away from that mark as well.
Sobey leans in, gets the call.
It's interesting. You see Mike Kelly having a chat with Nathan Sobey there. It's been a little Sobey-centric these last 3 or 4 possessions. There he draws the foul. He's going to spend a lot of time at the free throw line this year. I spoke about that 20 points in 17 minutes against Melbourne United. They couldn't keep him off the line. 10 of 10 from the stripe. He's so good at getting downhill, drawing contact. He's getting better and better at that as he grows his experience across his career. But yeah, it's about striking that balance. Right now, Walton Jr.'s not out there, so Sobey's the focus of the offense, but the ball's got to move as well. Everybody's got to get involved. Matt Hurt, Malik Lewis, Foxy. There's some guys out there on the floor that can assist at the offensive end.
Especially with Hurt out there. We've seen his wares on display so far this afternoon. 16 points, 6 of 10. Blanchfield a little bit off. Didn't have a great shooting season last year with Todd, but as he always does, goes back to the NBL 1 and absolutely brains them.
Big season from Mackay. Hometown team. You take him to the title? NBL 1 North?
Yes.
He and Isaac White?
Yep. NBL 1 North, great competition. He's the finals MVP as well, Todd Blanchfield. Look at Yates, hangs and hits.
Strong finish from Yates. 4th personal foul on Malik Lewis.
Takes it out to a 12-point gap. Biggest lead of the game for the Hawks.
The way he hung in the air there. Yates, the young fella, took the contact. Moved it across to his right. Finished over the front of the rim. Speaking of Todd Blanchfield, what year in the NBL do you reckon this is for Todd Blanchfield?
Am I allowed to look down at my notes, or do I have to guess?
No, of course you can't. Put your binoculars on.
I'm just trying to sort of approximate it around Jesse Wagstaff. Is it 13?
It's year 16.
16.
And he's only 32.
Yep.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
He's got a lot of runs still in those legs, and he's feeling great after that NBL 1 North season, but it's his 16th season in the league.
Is that
Shout
tripling
out
to the
to
game?
him. Over 400 games.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows how high he could go in terms of that statistic. Swakala Bullock charges into Angus Glover, who does a good job shuffling his feet at the defensive end. He knows what winning's about, of course, Todd Blanchfield. Brings a lot of experience in that part of the game. Swakala Bullock comes out. Kwani comes in for the Hawks as their replacement player without Dan Greiter. Had Dan Greiter out there. You mentioned you had a chance to chat to Dan Greiter earlier. Is he far away?
No, he thinks he might play in the 3rd game as Sobey glides his way to the cup. He couldn't believe it. He said, I played all season in the NZNBL. Just everything was great, feeling good. I come back to the snake pit and bam, straight in my calf. It's a soft tissue injury. He has had a rough run of luck in that Hawks organisation, Creeder, but hopefully he can get that right, get out here at the Blitz, and then enter the start of the regular season healthy.
It's over with Nelson in the NZNBL. Time winding down in this third period. 12-point lead to the Hawks. Blanchfield trying to create something. Has it tipped on the way through. Glover, three-quarter court. Oh, not far away. And the Illawarra Hawks on pace to score almost 120 points at three-quarter time. They've got 89 on the board. They lead South East Melbourne 77. Just for context, the winning score last night, Brisbane scored 89 and won in a full game. Melbourne United scored 94 in a full game and won.
Wow, they're pouring on the points.
They are on pace.
This Phoenix squad can't get a stop. After a 38-point second quarter, Illawarra have another 27 in that term. And they win it by 4. And they're rolling. Up by 12. Going to put a huge number on the board. Everybody, almost everybody, up and about playing well. Lockie Olbrich in particular, man. He was terrific in that quarter. 5 points. And he's got 14, 2, 2, and 3 steals. The 20-year-old looks really comfortable out there. Tyler Harvey with 16, Froling 15, Kel 14, Dave O'Hickey 13. All the guys that we're hoping will be productive and effective for the Hawks this season, up and about.
Absolutely they are. Here on the Gold Coast, beautiful day, 30 degrees, sun shining. It's yours to experience on the Gold Coast. Home to a lot of sporting precincts around the place. Queensland's largest tennis facility. Fans just made the three-point shot. I assume to win himself some cash down on the court. $200 going to that fan.
Where can he spend it, Joe?
They can spend it down at Pacific Fairleigh at the many retail outlets here on the Gold Coast.
And the fine dining, just quietly.
Yes. Have you? What would you? So what's your?
Yeah.
What's your So special occasion, and you're going out with the wife for a birthday or an anniversary.
Yep.
And you've got the choice of venue. What are you going for? Particular cuisine that takes your interest?
I like high-end Japanese.
Yep,
for sure. If there's some, chef's hat sort of style to be enjoyed, then Japanese I think always goes well.
Nice.
At the lower end, Indian is my sort of like go-to takeaway.
Yes. I can support that fully. My better half not so on board with the Indians, so I've got to pick and choose.
Okay. But yeah, I put a bit of a pack together in advance of the Blitz for all the NBA scouts about, the guys that are going to be on display and, the team, the rosters, but also
where they can take you for dinner.
the fine dining options around town, Job. And
that'd be a big pack.
It's a big part of the NBA scouting world.
Yeah,
they love to go and go to nice restaurants and put the expense card down and eat well. And there's a lot of really good spots to be enjoyed. But speaking of that pack, in addition to the next stars, always make sure I flag in that pack, the other elite young prospects in the league for guys to keep an eye on, especially draft eligible dudes. And Lachlan Olbrich was very much spotlighted in that information, and he's come out and shown why thus far this afternoon.
Yeah, hasn't he what? 14 points for Big Lockie. Trey Cowell's got 14. He's the leading scorer out there at the moment for the Hawks. Nice little finish from Owen Foxwell there, a championship teammate of Angus Glover's at Eltham in the NBL 1 South. Matt Hurt's got 16 for the Phoenix. Yeah, Derek Walton Jr. on triple-double watch at halftime. I don't think he surfaced in that second term, did he?
We haven't seen him since.
The 16, just under 16 minutes, 14 points, 5 of 8 shooting, but he was influential while he was out there.
Yeah, not fun from Mike Kelly.
He might have been playing too much defence. The way these things are going at the moment.
Obviously ramping him up. He only played 10 minutes in that double overtime preseason clash with Melbourne United.
Yeah, coming off a little bit of a calf concern, I think.
Okay. All right. So they're winding him back up. 15 today, and boy, didn't he look good during that playing time.
Pretty solid 15 minutes for him, that's for sure. Wieskamp to Glover. He misses that one. We tried to talk him into a couple of threes pre-game, and I'm surprised we didn't get a glance when he missed that. Have a look at Geordie Hunter with the help block. Big play from the big man. I'll try and finish it off down the other end as well. Foxwell trying to free him up. Tosses it inside, and he finishes it beautifully.
Jeez, he's growing in that part of the game, Owen Foxwell. You know, he came in a couple of years ago as a DP with the Phoenix, known as a defensive guy. Then had a night guarding Derek Walton Jr. that night. He had 40 as Blanchfield with that trademark one-handed push shot. But now he's developing his ability to create out of ball screens. The way he snaked that screen and found Hunter over the top, illustrative of that growth.
Wieskamp just charging his way inside. Nice play from the man out of Iowa. Grew up right on the border of Iowa and Illinois on the Mississippi River. Didn't write the name of the city down, which that's a bit of a miss from my perspective, but basketball heartland. Blanchfield outside buries it.
Well, we've been watching that for a while in the NBL and not growing tired of it.
Wieskamp tripped over his own feet and then slid over the ball. A bit of an obstacle course going to the hoop there. Justin Tatum barking some instruction at his team on the sideline.
There it is again, the back cut from Wieskamp. You can see the defense, chasing him hard, lock and trail. You got to go over the top on everything with Wieskamp because the stroke is so pure. He's 0 for 2 from long range today, but comes in as a guy who clearly has shot the ball at a very high level over the course of his career. So that's the scout, but as a result, it does open up those cutting lanes.
Still only 25 too, Joe Wieskamp, so still got some definite upside there. Hoping it might be a return to the NBA in the offing. Hurt getting to his spot. Not quite. 94-83, and we've still got 6.5 minutes remaining. The Illawarra Hawks are going to put up the first triple-figure score of the Blitz. Lockie Olbrich from outside. Can't get that one to go. Ben Ayre is always such a dynamic player. Brings passion and intensity to the game, which is great to see. Lewis is just a little bit off on a three-pointer. Perth and New Zealand coming up after this. Joel Peterson, Liam Santa Maria with you for that call as well. You're joined by Danny Mills, the Perth GM in that game, as Harvey goes back to work. Looking forward to hearing the thoughts of Danny on this retooled, somewhat Perth squad. We'll also get to see Dylan Windler for the first time. A big import recruit, which is very exciting. Haven't used him in their pre-season games as he was recovering from injury. 24-second clock sounds on the Phoenix. The NBL season begins September 19 out west with a grand final replay of Tasmania and Melbourne. So every game live on ESPN via KO, every Sunday live and free via 10 and 10 play in season 2025. The NBL, we dream big.
Got BC on one side. Joey got Xavier Cooks on the other. What do you think I'm thinking about?
Thinking about MVPs or Derek Rucker's top 15?
How can you not rank Bryce Cotton number one?
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. Now, I'm not far be it to get all worked up, and I love the confidence and the willingness to put it out there and put your mouth where your thoughts are, for sure. But he's a 4-time MVP. Joel, only Brewy has more of them. He's a 7-time All-NBL first team member. Couple of Larry Sengstock medals, 3 championships. just continues to get it done night after night after night, year after year after year. He's the best player in the league.
It's almost like a bit of an is that not enough moment. What more do you need, Ruck? Vodanovic is fouled. Yeah, tough task, but Bryce Cotton is the best player in the game for me until I am notified otherwise.
And look, I love Xavier Cooks. And I was here for the Xavier Cooks MVP campaign. And the fact that he won it that season when he did, because he was absolutely sensational. Didn't score as many points as others, but you look across the box score, you watch with your eyes the impact he's having on the game, led the team to the championship. Regular season award, yep, but he was MVP that year. But Bryce Cotton's the #1 player in this league.
Has been for a long time in the way he's going. 36 in their most recent preseason game. And that was just his tune-up. So he just rolls in and drops 36.
Fitness test.
Yep.
In the warm-ups.
Just phenomenal. Was that your main gripe with the top 15?
That's the main one for sure, because you've just got to show the man the respect that he's earned, Joel. Do you know what I mean? I feel it's important to do that. We've got to respect. And the other thing I love about Bryce Cotton is he, over the journey, has respect the OGs. You know, he's done his research. He knows who Cal Bruton is and who Derek Rucker is and what kind of player they were, the greats of the league, and he's standing on their shoulders. Well, we've got to respect him back in return. As Hickey scores with the fadeaway, count the basket, he'll go to the line. Yeah, I'm not saying Ruck doesn't have respect for Cotton. Of course he does. Of course he does. At a very high level, but not quite enough, it seems. It just needs to go up one more little rung, quite clearly.
I regard you as a cool, calm, collected customer, Lem. Not often you get this worked up. I like the passion that's emanating out of you at the moment.
And look, I'm excited to have Xavier Cooks back in the league. That's great. We don't want to lose these guys to Japan and the like. These high-level, elite Aussie talents.
And you lose Modi Mayor's gone. Gary Clark was playing against the Perth Wildcats last week.
For sure, it's no good. So great to have him back. But I also am indebted to Bryce for staying in this league for the amount of time that he has. Comes in mid-season, Perth the last in 2016, takes him to the title, 45 in the championship closeout game, and we thought he was gone. And he goes to Summer League. I remember the day Trevor Gleeson walked in the lobby at the win. He had this huge Cheshire grin on his face. We said, "You just re-signed Bryce Cotton, didn't you?" He said, "I sure did. He's coming back." And he's been back ever since. He hasn't gone to Europe or Japan or back to the NBA when he had all those opportunities. And as a result, he's become an absolute legend of this league. And I think we've got to show that love to the great man.
I like it. We'll see him next. We'll get to see just what kind of shape he's in. Be impeccable as always, I'm sure.
He's in... It's strange to say. I mean, we've never seen Bryce out of shape, right? Like, it just doesn't happen. But he even looks like he's moving. I watched him over against the NBL 1 West Select team.
Yep.
And it's pre-season, and he's a 4-time MVP. He's just getting himself, geared up, but moving sharp, looking in terrific nick.
A lot of Bryce Cotton chat to come, and just the 4-time MVP. How can he be an intriguing player coming into a season? But after the way he started last season, he can be. Vodanovic has a couple of attempts, can't hit. Hawks by 14 points here, 4.5 remaining. Joel Peterson, a fired up Liam Santa Maria with you.
Come on, give him the ball, Hickey. Oh.
Touch pass from Kuani to Lee. A little bit strong. Sobey, Majuk, Lewis, Vodanovic and Air out there at the moment. Sobey goes flying into the rack, no call. 3-on-2 for the Hawks. Hickey goes himself.
Good take. Hickey in transition. Heat on the rim. Gets to the cup. Sobey strolls past Chris Reed, who didn't give him the call down the other end. Good read from Hickey. No one commits. That's what we teach him at the junior level. Attack the rim until the defense commits, and if they don't, get all the way to the cup.
And the 100 comes up. So the Hawks raise the bat in their first innings of the season. (101 to 85). Sobey thought about it. Can't connect on that one. 6 of 14 now, Nathan Sobey for his 16 points. Matt Hurt's got 16 as well for the Phoenix. Taylor Harvey's got 18. Lockie Olbrich, he's got 17.
Good hit. And that's the game changer for Lockie Olbrich. Having a really good outing here in front of all these NBA folks. Love to see it. And that's the swing skill. Good take from Lewis. And, rims out. He'll go to the stripe. And I like to see Lockie Olbrich step up and shoot that thing, because he was 0 for 2 from three-point territory, but you got to keep shooting it. You've been working on that, and you can't lose confidence. He's got 17 now. Olbrich checks out. We'd love to have seen Tatum just let him stay out there and finish this one off, Joel, while he's feeling it, but he looks like he's done for the night.
So 7 of 9, 2 of 4. We saw him having struggles at the line last year. Lockie Olbrich, the free throw line. Hopefully that's an area of his game he can tighten up. He certainly got the stroke. Was that night down in Tassie when he really struggled from the line. There's an uncomfortable sight as Hickey goes end to end and just continues to impress. Zach Triplett getting some run, who spent some time with Melbourne United over the journey. Foxwell tried to sling it cross court. Finally got a hand on it.
Hickey's got a game high 20.
Yeah.
Now, 8 from 12 from the field.
Very efficient.
3 boards, 3 assists. Really good outing.
3 or 4 from downtown as well for Davo, which is good to see. And Kenyon cleaning it up. A local these days. You can imagine Matt Kenyon doing some of his finest work down on Surfers Paradise Beach, can't you, with the hair?
What do you mean he's a local?
Well, he's playing for the Gold Coast Rollers in recent times.
Okay.
He's part of the world, adoptedly speaking.
Okay.
Teams for the next game getting set as well. Perth Wildcats and the New Zealand Breakers. Lewis can't hit that one. It's going to stay in green. Phoenix opened their season up against the Wildcats. A Friday of Hoops Fest at RAC Arena. They've got Sydney and Adelaide to come here at the Blitz. Here is Kenyon slashing to the hoop.
Nice action from the Phoenix. Beautifully done from Vodanovic, and the back cut from Kenyon. Beautifully timed.
Lee inside. Kuani's able to stretch and get it to go. 106 to 91 with a minute and 20 remaining in this one. Perth and New Zealand not too far away. And the Hawks have done an offensive number on the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They'd be hoping this isn't a sign of things to come. The team from the Gong. Another 3 goes down. We know Hyung Jung Lee's got that in the bag.
Wow. Defensive breakdown, number 332 from the Phoenix this afternoon. You can't leave Hyung Jung Lee open. That's money.
I know it's early in the preseason. Is it a concern, the defence for the Phoenix for you at this
It's a
stage?
work on, for sure.
Yep.
And then everyone, they knew that. Everybody knows that. You bring in this group that's got all this offensive firepower. Triplet gets in there. Kwani cleans up the mess. He'll go to the stripe. So what there is opportunity. Now, they're going to need, as I said earlier, they're going to need some guys that are going to play big minutes to defend at a higher level than maybe they have previously in their career. Guys like Matt Hurt, Joe Wieskamp, bring in imports like that who are known shooters of the basketball, but they're going to need those guys to defend. But there's opportunity for others. Malik Lewis, Matt Kenyon, Angus Glover. Heck, Majuk. You know, for them to step up and say, hey, listen, like, I can be a guy that can help us get stops and earn minutes as a result. Davo Hickey did that last season over the course of the year with the Hawks, and then his offensive game sort of blossomed through that period. Well, there's opportunity for some Phoenix guys to do similarly.
Even a Luke Rosendale, you know, he's Defensive Player of the Year finalist in the NBL 1 South with Ballarat. There's going to be chances for these players to step in and play their role. Just getting the shot clock sorted out here. Nathan Sobey on the bench on the other side of the court has got an almighty contraption on his knee. You can see it just in the shot there. He's got 2 blue ice packs fixed to his knee. So he's done for the afternoon. Maybe a bit of temperature insurance as well. A warm day here on the Gold Coast.
Well, he's no spring chicken, Nathan Sobey. He's still moving great, 34 years of age. So this is a guy who looks after himself tremendously well. The rehab, the recovery, the nutrition, does all of that at a really high level.
He's a tremendous athlete. We know that. Seen that over such a long period of time. Final possession of this one. Southeast Melbourne Phoenix trying to close it out strong. Lewis can't quite connect on it. And Lee's going to be happy to dribble the clock out. And the Hawks start their Blitz campaign with a victory in fine style. 112 to 93. The Hawks batter the Phoenix. And they hang up a really big mark to open their pre-season campaign in a nice showing of their offensive capability, Liam.
Smashed them. Put a whole bunch of points on the board, 112, huge number. 6 guys in double figures. Davo Hickey leading the way with 20, but everybody got amongst the party, and particularly strong performance from Lockie Olbrich. That was tremendous, watching him go about his business. 17 points, 7 of 9 from the field, 5 boards, a couple of dimes, 3 steals, really strong from the 20-year-old.
It's about what we could have hoped for, right, for Lockie Olbrich. There's so much hype coming into this pre-season, but that's an early sign that he's ready to deliver on it.
For sure. Justin Tatum would be happy with the way the squad went about it. They've got Darius Days to come back in, and that's going to be a process, assimilating him into the group. Meanwhile, the Phoenix, I'm not sure they'll be wrapped. That's too many points that they've allowed. Of course, Derek Walton Jr. only played the first half. He was cooking. Would have looked different had he played the rest, but good win from the Hawks to open their Blitz campaign.
Yeah, some positive signs for both of these teams. Derek Walton Jr. was absolutely one. So they get the job done in the end. The Illawarra Hawks, 112 points. They hang up on the Phoenix. Nathan Sobey was important. Matt Hurt showed some signs as well, especially with his shooting ability down on that post area and stepping it outside.
Yeah, for sure. Was our first look at Hurt, 16 points, and clearly can get some work done in the mid-range. But they needed to get Geordie Hunter a little bit more involved at the rim. They need to find a way to get Joe Wieskamp going offensively as well. 1 of 12. I think it was maybe 0 for 5, 0 for 6 in that last preseason game from 3. He was 0 for 2 tonight. They're struggling to find him good open looks, and he hasn't quite found his rhythm just yet.
Geordie Hunter productive with 8 points as well. And Davo Hickey putting on a show with his slashing best. Was the man who had a great season for Albury Wodonga Bandits in the NBL 1 East. So game 1 of day 2 here at the NBL Blitz is in the books. A big win to the Illawarra Hawks. Stick around though, game 2 not too far away. In about 40 minutes from now, it is the Perth Wildcats. Finished 3rd in last year. We know they've got some big names coming into the fold this season against the new look New Zealand Breakers. That is not too far away. Stick with us here at the Blitz. The Hawks, big winners. Game 1 of day 2.